So we are. I think we have Cardboard Live also working? Question mark. What is up, Mr. Nicholas? Yes, it is a spicy list.
These are both my brain children.
So today we're probably gonna play 2 leagues minimum. We might try to work in a third if we do. But the 2 that we're working on today are there's a blue-white and then I think a blue-white-red one.
This doesn't look like 11 cantrips. Am I crazy? Oh, there are only 3 Preordains?
There are only 3 Preordains.
Okay.
Do you want to swap it out? Or do you want it... Is it fine as is? It's entirely up to you.
Let me think about this for a second.
Sure. For those that don't know, this is my friend Josh.
Hi.
We're just kind of chilling on a Sunday afternoon, and we're going to play some leagues.
I think I want to cut the 3rd Snapcaster Mage for the 4th Preordain.
Okay. Do you want it to move it to the sideboard at all, or do you want to... If you move it to the sideboard, I think the cut has to be either a Containment Priest or a Clique.
I agree. I think I would sooner cut the Containment Priest.
I'm with you.
And then the last thing that I am curious about is I'm pretty tempted to go down to 1 Tundra with this list.
Okay.
And see how that feels.
So my problem with going down to 1 Tundra is, and that's mostly like a comfort level thing, it causes a lot of weird sequencing problems. Because you'll run into situations where, like, oh, wait, I don't have a 2nd Tundra in my deck.
Right, yes.
And that's gonna be some problems. I remember being a bit disappointed in my clicks last time I played, but it's been a while now for sure. Yeah,
Right.
I think Legacy has changed quite a bit in the past, like, few months to where, just, like, click is an important angle of attack. What's up, Neil?
Hi, Neil.
What were you gonna say?
Just give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
No, I think this is fine. Okay.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. So, do you want to talk about this list at all? Or do you want to just jump in? Oh, wait, hang on. I have to get tickets.
Oh, we don't have tickets?
We don't have tickets.
Okay.
So, 1 sec.
Didn't we have tickets last time? Okay, whatever.
No,
okay,
it's
sure,
been a
sure.
while, so.
Sure. So there were 2 lists that I wanted to test that I've been thinking about recently for Miracles. This is the first one, which is a kind of personal question that I have, because I've seen a lot of Miracles players start moving away from back to basics because a lot of people haven't been impressed with the card. My personal experience has been that
it's still completely insane.
Yeah, and if I have the ability to maximize it by just like not hurting myself at all when I cast it, it's still actually insane. And I wanted to test a straight blue-white list, main decking the card, and see how powerful it felt when you are when you are tuning your mana base specifically to support it.
Yeah. If anyone watching, if the audio is okay, just let me know. I know I'm still working through some audio things, and I think this is a different audio setup than I had before. Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I think a notable thing, and I think we'll see this as a bit of a trend, is flying. What? Man is really starting to piss me off. What's up, Petrick and Fat 7? That's Wilson.
Okay.
That's Wilson Hunter.
Sure.
What are our basics? We will fix the art for these basics before we enter a league, I promise you. Let's get those tickets real quick.
Yep.
Magic Online, please cooperate. Yeah, I know, Nicholas, I'm very sorry. It's, yeah, Josh is...
I used whatever islands were there.
It's bugging out. This island's definitely, like, actually not there.
Okay.
I have gurus specifically for this deck, yes.
I definitely just, like, typed island. And
well, because if you don't change this version filter,
sure.
It won't show them all.
I didn't do that.
How many islands do we have? 1, 2, 3,
Should
4,
be
5,
7?
Yeah. Is this island, like, actually there? God damn And 2 planes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that island's like actually not there, and Magic Island's bugging out. Let me just restart it real quick.
Okay.
Because that's another notable thing is I actually look at the second list that you sent, but are there any copies of Counterspell in it?
Yes.
Okay. How many?
2.
2? Okay.
Yes. But that list is also maybe very off meta in interesting ways that I think I want to talk about when we get to it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to just play the league with the first one first?
I don't know. I didn't have an organization. So
that's fine.
We can do. if you want me to talk about it, I totally can.
Let's go ahead and just do it. Let's do deck and then league and then deck and then league.
Okay. Yeah.
So red is lame anyway. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I guess swapping to a different deck would have fixed that problem regardless. But whatever.
Okay.
So now we have the correct basics, thankfully. We also need to update Cardboard Live with the new deck list, I believe. Okay.
I'm also not sure if I had thought a little bit less about a couple of sideboard questions, one being if I want the third surgical or not.
Okay.
But like also I'm a little hesitant. I haven't played a ton of Legacy on Moto recently, and I'm not sure what I'm scared of yet. So
and how different it could be.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
like it's hard for me to.
Oh, we got a follow.
Yay.
I'm not sure who followed just now. USOAEZ. What's up, Eddie? Thanks for the follow. Let's see. What did we swap out? We swapped out the...
We got a 4th Preordain. We moved the Snapcaster to the side.
That's right. And then we cut the 2nd Containment Priest.
Yep.
For a Snapcaster.
I also personally really like Spell Pierce and Counterspell, but I don't think I want them in this list specifically because I kind of want to just slam powerful enchantments at my opponent.
Sure.
And that's why the 2 counterbalances are in the main as well.
I think, there we go. Okay. So Cardboard Live should now be updated with the correct deck list that we are playing.
Cool.
Only 2 copies of Pierce.
Yeah, so that's on that plan, or that's in that line of thinking as well. I kind of like 3 a lot, but
Yeah, it's hard to fit everything in.
It's also hard to be like, I think I really want to be trying to just play more powerful things than my opponent at most steps of the curve here, and it's hard to do that while also holding up Spell Pierce.
Correct. And there's some tension involved in Spell Pierces in general with just the amount of slamming base permanents that we have, or quite a bit.
Yep.
So, Nicholas, my rationale, and I know Josh doesn't necessarily agree with this, so my rationale for disliking Spell Pierce is that a lot of people are playing decks that line up to where holding up mana is very difficult to do. It's not necessarily Counterspell being bad, it's more being... People are getting underneath us and forcing us to react a little bit differently. To that end, I think Spell Pierce is a bit more better position than it has been. And I am of the opinion that I want to play as many Monastery Mentors as possible and kind of have the Mentor Spell Pierce game going on.
Both of these lists have 4 Mentors in them in the 75.
I approve. We're not playing any of the lists that... we're not playing a min design list today just because I have a guest. So we'll definitely kind of explore that more as I continue streaming for sure. I think that kind of addresses a lot of the strange stuff going on with this.
Yeah, so just something that I want to bring up that is interesting that I've been thinking about a little bit is not playing red makes you definitely softer to the mirror and a couple of your controlling matchups where like it's just so much harder to answer a Jace. Spell Pierce helps a little bit, but we also don't have Counterspell, and it's like it's a little scary. But the thing that should maybe help us here is playing 4 copies of Monastery Mentor and just kind of attacking them on an angle that they're not really ready for most of the time.
Right. And the thesis these days that I'm working with is that Mentor is absurd and should be maximized as much as possible, just the strengths of the card. So
Is there... Okay, so I think this is fine. I do generally really want to play 20 lands in my 4 mentor lists, especially with 3 copies of Jace. I'm not sure if it's possible to fit in here.
I don't know if it is either. I mean, I think the cut is to me, the cut just seems to be the third Jace.
Yeah.
But that kind of defeats the purpose of the thesis that we're trying in the
right,
first place.
Exactly.
And I think it's a little bit more sustainable with blue-white over blue-white-red, just as a general kind of speaking term. And that's also one of the reasons why I kind of dislike cutting the second Tundra in favor of an additional plains, I guess, in this case. Just because if you're operating on 19 lands, again, it just causes a lot of weird sequencing problems. Yeah. Although I can definitely see the other side of the argument in that if you have a lesser land count, the more basics you have, the better. Right? So I could see it either way. I think it's also really hard to talk about the optimal land count in general, because sometimes it is a very weird discussion to have.
Yeah.
Because you get into like talking about how many cantrips you need to sustain your land count, so you don't have to cantrip for land over and over again.
It's also just difficult to test because the difference between 19 and 20 lands is very small, and you're going to get screwed and flood with both of them.
Correct.
Like it's going to happen.
Magic, right?
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of the I think a few months ago we were having this same discussion about like and doing geometric calculations, and I'm making numbers out of like completely up right now, but the percentage differences was like it was like 79% versus 81% for keepable 7-card hands. Again, that's like completely made up, but the difference was very, very small. But also like it's not small. Like it seems small if you look at it in math terms, but it's actually quite large if you have a large sample size.
Yeah.
So then we'll just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Another kind of point of consideration, and I wanted to point this out because we're playing a blue-white list. A lot of people, when they play blue-white, they don't play the Arid Mesa, and they play like a Marsh Flats or a Windswept Heath instead.
Sure.
And I think they do that because they want the possibility of misdirection on turn one or lane one.
Yeah.
I think...
But I kind of hate the idea of playing in a... I don't... Just because of how this list is built, I don't really want to have a hand that is a single fetch that like is only getting a Tundra on turn 1.
Correct.
I really don't want that.
Well, I mean, Arid Mesa does that regardless in this list.
Right. That's why I'm saying I don't want to keep a hand that has just the
sure.
Arid Mesa as the land. Like, this was a trap that I've fallen into while testing blue-white in the past, and I think those are... Unless the hand is, like, really good other than that, I think that your one land being an Arid Mesa or a Tundra is significantly worse in a list like this.
I agree. And another kind of point I wanted to bring up is if you start with a Windswept Heath and they find out you're on Miracles, that also means that they know you don't have red in your deck.
Yeah.
And I think that's also an active downside. Not necessarily because it changes their perception, but I mean it's free percentage points really on the table.
Yes.
And I think that's worth something at the very least.
It's also tiny either way.
Right. It is very small regardless.